Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Adventures in Gladria South. I am your humble DM, Tyler, and today we will continue the story of the group of the South Continent. And if you missed the first episode, we'll go over what happened last episode. But firstly, couple things, some housekeeping. Number one, all these players are part of a D&D Discord server known as the Pocket Dimension. It's a great community full of players and game masters that run games almost every day, it seems like. But it's a great community. Check it out. Descriptions below. And other than that, that's all the other housekeepings. But without further ado, if the players would like to introduce themselves, at this point you can reveal like your race, your class, and name, and what have you. Now that it's past the first episode.
I'll go first. I'm Fate. I'm playing Grim Shaw Rex, Bard Dragonborn.
All right, and I think we'll just go down according to Discord names from that point, unless someone wants to volunteer, of course.
I'm Doc. I'm playing Divino, Twilight Cleric, High Elf, who apparently was really vicious in the last episode with his giant warhammer. That's it.
I'm Umbretta. I'm a human, boring human, and I'm a ranger.
I'm Kaz. I'm a Fearbolg druid. Circle of Stars, hopefully, if we level up.
And I am Sirius. I am playing Zur, a bugbear monk.
Alrighty. Without further ado, let's continue where we left off. So, if you guys were not here for the inaugural episode, here's what happened. Divino was at a tavern looking to recruit any possible adventurers for a task left by his head cleric, a Twilight cleric by the name of Sophia. Everyone in the party walked in one by one, displaying their character traits and what have you. At that point, Divino yells out in the tavern, basically looking for adventurers for a job. Most of these guys joined around. Some of them recruited others. But nonetheless, Sophia eventually came to the tavern to discuss business. So she sent you guys to Sylvia's Forest, a forest that changes every single day, in order to investigate the killings of some holy animals and or the harming and maiming of holy animals, and to investigate what's going on and to report back to see what they found. They navigated through the forest, upon which they discovered a dead unicorn, and then following its dead tracks, they found a younger unicorn being surrounded by some weird, fiendish creatures. And of course, none of you guys have ever seen these creatures before, but thanks to a sleep spell to dramatically aid them in combat, you guys easily defeated them, with the enemy side unfortunately not being able to get a lick in. You guys decide to capture one of them, and by doing so, you put him to sleep, and now you guys are basically traversing back to God's Landing. It's about sunset, and the sun is just about to set, and you get to the city gates, and you see all these guys here. Now, all of you recognize these guys in red uniforms, that being archers of Ivor, who is the god of war. And unlike other paladins, the archers are considered the high paladins of that order. Other than that, you do see 3 members of the Palladium Guard. And, oh, by the way, forgot to mention before I forget, I changed Kaz's token to the correct token, so what you see on screen is the correct token. But there we go. So if her character looks different, that's why. We got the correct token this time. But you guys are walking up. You are holding a fiendish creature in your hand. At this point, one of the Palladium Guard steps and says, "Halt, travelers!" Do you guys stop?
I'm not really a traveler. I kind of live here.
I do. Yeah, I stop.
Okay.
I definitely
Kaz
halt.
Stops.
At this point, 3 Palladium Guards will go up to you guys, says, "Well, it seems like you guys are just coming back from Silver Forest, and What are you holding there, madam? As they gesture towards Yukaz holding this fiendish creature. They don't see it up close and in person yet.
Yeah. She looks down at it and she's like, we were asked to investigate the murder of some holy creatures in the woods, and this is one of the creatures that we think was the cause of it. We were just bringing it back to the church to be interrogated, I think.
The Palladium Guard orders these guys to stand back, and he comes out. He says to you, take a closer look at this sleeping creature, this sleeping fiendish creature. And he says, that creature seems to be of wicked nature. What is the meaning of this? What is this foul creature?
I would also like to know. That's why we're bringing it to the people who hired us to figure out what's going on.
You could go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh boy, oh boy.
Can I make an attempt to assist?
How would you assist in this scenario?
You don't take prisoners of war there, Shiny Paints?
We take prisoners, but this thing looks wicked.
It's because it is. Still prisoner.
I also rolled a 21. Let's roll that again to see if I get a nat 20. No. Okay.
All right. So you rolled a 21. Let me just roll. Okay. He goes up to it and says, if it were up to me, this thing would be smited in the name of Micah. But if you were to bring it to the church, then that is also fine. They shall sanctify it from this earth, and it should be rid of its existence. But,
Okay.
to be safe, he whispers to one of the men, and from his pocket you see what seems like to be a small box from his pocket, which is the size of the palm of his hand. But like when he like crushes it a bit, it turns into like a small sized box, seeming enough to fit this creature. That says, to protect the citizens of God's landing, you must put this foul creature in this box temporarily. So that way the citizens do not go abrupt, and that other Palladium guards do not smite this creature before you get to the church.
But, like, can he breathe inside of that box? Because, like, if he dies in the box, then he's going to turn into, like, a naked gnome, and then, like, the rune that's on him, we're not going to see it.
So you're saying witchcraft is involved in this?
Yeah, that's
Well,
why...
Something like that?
It's really a naked gnome that's, like, turned into this, but, like, I think to, like, the box has holes that he can breathe through, right?
It'll be enough for this foul thing to suffice.
That's all I
Hopefully.
needed.
All right.
Put him in the box.
All right.
All right, whatever.
They open the box.
I like gingerly place him inside, like watching his head a little bit.
You do so. And they close the box, and then they take a hammer and nail it, and they nail the box, tapping all four corners. Surprisingly, it does not wake up the creature. And it says, at this point, you guys are responsible for this. If this thing shall escape, then we have no choice but to smite it on sight.
Fair.
All right.
And then they just leave you the box. And then, at this point, the two guards go up and they say, Captain! At this point, the captain shoves and says, yes, what is the matter? Open the gates for these travelers. They are traversing in here with some cargo. Did you check the cargo? Yes, sir. It is safe. They are taking it directly to the church. Very well. Men, open the gates. And you see the gates being opened. He says, you travelers shall pass and be safe in God's landing. May the gods watch over you. And then they step aside and make a path for you guys.
Oh my god, they're so dramatic every time.
They gotta yell so loud.
Like, I live here.
Is
They've
this-
seen me.
Is this what this place is always like?
I'll
Pretty
pick up the
much.
box.
Okay.
Oh,
You
I
have
walk,
the box.
I walk away from the box.
Hold on. It's
Oh,
attached.
leave it there.
Hold on. It's attached to you. I could get rid of it. There you go.
Oh, it's okay.
Now you can move with it, sir. Oh, no.
Oh, you can carry it, sir. I'm done. That
That's
was my.
fine.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Attached to me.
Don't worry. We'll fix
Oh.
that.
The box
Sir's
is
carrying
floating.
it.
What's
Uh,
in the box?
All right. let's go over the map to God's Landing, shall we? By the way, Alba Rodeo has gotten a dramatic update, so if you see some new stuff on screen, that is why. But right now, you guys are at the bottom of the gate here. And then the church is just straight ahead. So unless you want to go to anywhere else.
No, let's get our
Not-
rewards.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's just go straight to the church because people here are so fucking uptight
Okay.
almost all the time.
Gotcha. Alright, it's time to go to the High Church of the Gods. A place that you're more familiar with, Divino, as this is the place where you've had all of your training. So what you guys see here is that this is a long church. It's supposed to be bigger than what is imaged on screen, but nonetheless, you do see multiple shrines of multiple gods, and you see clerics specifically tailored to set god. The main one that's like at the podium at the end here seems to be, and let me just refer to my notes here. The main one that seems to stand out the most is the one all the way at the end, where a large statue of what seems like to be a woman in cloth, holding a newborn baby. And you guys, Divino, you recognize the image as Isa, the goddess of life. And you know that whoever's the high cleric, their god is represented in the middle of the church, at which point you do see the head cleric, Salvatore Gilmira, which is the main leader of the church, along with his pupil, Kaiko. But nonetheless, you do see the other clerics. And upon entering, Sophia, who was at this point with your fellow clerics, Golixia and Bronman, says, "Oh, you travelers are back. Excuse me one moment." And then she will greet you. She says, "Welcome to the Church of the Gods. You're back." And she notices the box that Zer's carrying. Says, "What's in the box?"
Zer will drop the box.
Gingerly, or just letting go from your height?
At first he lets go, then he remembers, and then tries to like catch it to be Ginger at the end.
Oh, you must be careful. You could have broken that box.
Oh,
So,
but I didn't, so it's alright.
so there's kind of a naked gnome inside,
Why?
but it doesn't.
Why did
but
you
it
bring a
doesn't-
naked gnome in a
Hold on.
box?
But it doesn't look like a naked gnome. It looks like a demon.
She raises an eyebrow, and the nearby clerics pick up on it.
Because we found a lot of little demons and imps after they killed a unicorn. Don't worry, I smashed a lot of their heads in. We did burial rites for the unicorn. Her offspring is joining the herd, but if you kill the thing inside the box, the brand deforms, and then it just turns into a naked gnome.
Brand, please bring this more closer to the church, and close the door behind you. The public must not see this, lest they get scared. Come, I'll bring some of the other clerics as well. And then she will go. First, she'll go to the clerics of Micah, and
I
then
think someone in my group tried to draw out the brand. I'm not too sure.
we shall definitely take a look at the matter. But for now, bring it in the center and close the doors. She brings it. She goes over here, and then she'll go over to this death cleric here, and then she'll go over to Salvatore, and then at this point, these two clerics get tucked away into a secret entrance.
God, they're always so scared.
And then she goes to the grave cleric, and then she goes to a person you very much well, that being your father. I'm trying to read my notes here. Deathron tells about it. So at this point, she comes back with your dad. She also rings this half-orc cleric, along with two of the Palladium Guard. She brings back with this death cleric and this grave cleric. And then she yells out to the church, excuse me, everyone, would you mind gathering around. Seems that Stevino has find something. Well, I think it's better if you just come to the center. At this point, everyone goes to the center.
Why is she saying I found it? Like, we found it. I don't want all the blame.
What do you guys do?
Blame, or is it
Hey,
credit?
You can keep all the blame. It's fine with me.
You'd be surprised with people. Like, if they like it, you get credit. If they don't like it, you get blame.
You guys kind of notice that Grimshaw looks a little uncomfortable in this setting, and he's hanging out by the door with Gaudy and keeping his hat pretty low.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of stand back over here and pull out
Okay.
a book of Herbalism for Dummies and just start reading.
Okay.
I will give Grimshaw Vigilant Blessing. He has it.
What does that even do?
You just have advantage on the next initiative roll. It only ends either if I use the feature again or if you use it. So
I just kind of like tip my hat to him.
So I'll just like do the whole like I don't want to touch it, so I'm just gonna use my foot to slowly push it toward the middle.
Sure. You push it towards the center, and then do you stay in the center or do you back up or?
I just look like, do I open it?
Umbrella moving out of the way. What's cool about this is that I can see you guys physically moving your tokens now instead of after the fact. So.
Yep, I noticed that.
I just look at everybody like, am I opening this? Are you opening it? Like,
Grimshaw looks kind of peeved a little bit at these types. Like he doesn't really like fit in here, and he walks up, and I'm just gonna explode the box with force breath.
Okay.
He like leans forward, and a bolt of like purple lightning shoots out of his mouth, and boom!
As it does, this
problem solved.
this creature like pops out and goes ah. At this point, one of the flame guards says, "Good gods, this thing is a wicked demon. It must
It's
be
a
smited."
naked gnome that looks
A
like
gnome?
If
And-
you kill it, it will become a gnome, and we won't be able to get any information from it. All of its companions are already dead.
At this point, go ahead.
Before this thing like freaks out, can I cast sleep on it?
Sure.
I
Roll
just kind of like
5d8s.
I imagine he's still pretty fucked up, so I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
real
he's
worried
banged up
about
a
this
bit.
failing.
I think I slapped him twice.
19.
19, yeah, he goes to sleep.
I just kind of strum my guitar a little bit, and I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna keep strumming to kind of like lull him while
Okay.
this happens.
Hey, don't yell, God person. You're just gonna wake it up. Jesus.
This head cleric of Mecca says, "Give it one moment, Derek. We must take a closer look at this." At this point, this half-orc woman comes up to you. You recognize her as the head cleric for Micah. Her name is Drenna, and she says, "Davino, this creature, where have you found it from?"
It was in the forest, you know, like it murdered a unicorn. We did like vengeance, killed all of its friends. All of them turned into gnomes. It was in the forest. It was trying to kill another unicorn, but we stopped that.
So this must be responsible for all those holy creatures being attacked.
Or connected to it, because again, like if you kill it, it turns into a gnome, which is like not normal. So like there must be something behind turning gnomes into these things.
At this point, the knowledge cleric goes up. He says, "Oh yes, this must seem like some sort of witchcraftery." And he's going through like his books. He has like 5 books attached to him at all times, and he's picking up his book of like witchcraft. He says, "If I recall my knowledge, let me take a look at this creature." And he looks at it. At this point, the death cleric comes up and like just studies it. Let's see. What would these other guys do? Everyone would kind of just stand backish. Anything you guys do while these two, while the knowledge cleric goes through the books and while the death cleric is on standby?
Kaz thinks that all of this talk of witchcraftery is hilarious, and she is trying really, really hard to not laugh.
Every time one of them like says witchcraftery again, Grimshaw like looks back at Kaz and like slowly raises an eyebrow and then just shakes his head and goes back to his doing.
She's like shaking his head at him, like, "No, please, I can't laugh right now."
I just look at everyone and be like, I swear I'm not like these people.
Well, personally, I'm just here for the pay. Y'all can figure out whatever this thing is on your time, but it is killing your unicorns.
All right. So the knowledge cleric goes to goes, yes, this makes a lot of sense. He looks all over this creature, says, there it is, and you see like on the, well, Divino and Grimshaw would be the only ones that could actually see it. You see what seems like to be some sort of like black marking on the shoulder of this creature, and you see at a very fast pace this dwarf going shh, just scribbling on. He's like, all right, I've got the scripture. And he says, Theodore, if you don't mind just doing a deed. He says, of course. And then he does inflict wounds to it. As it does, the creature goes, ah! And at this point, you see like its entire body just basically lose all of its, what's it called? You see it basically shrink as it has no moisture in its body. And as this creature dies, you guys all see a magical effect occurring where, similar to the ones in the forest, you see... Oh, that's a little bit of spoilers. Whoops. The stream will see that, not the players.
I see nothing.
Oh yeah, I gotta do it through this way. Sorry, folks. Again, Alvar Rotor just changed all of its stuff, so I'm trying to get used to the new things. Here we go. Let's see, where's that? And in its place, it seems like to be a dead halfling. And at this point, this peace cleric goes and he says, oh, "What?" And then he goes like steps closer. He says, "Where has Timothy been? What has happened?" And he looks at you, Davino. He says, "Davino, like, how did you find Timothy? Look,
Okay, I don't.
what happened to Timothy?"
I thought all of you heard me that like we don't know. We found like little demon imps and we killed them because they killed a unicorn. And when you kill them, they go back to like they were all like gnomes,
did they change back to this form after you slayed these creatures?
He explained that pretty clearly a couple times now.
God,
so I'm kind of wondering.
You see, he's a bit
killed this thing.
You see, he's a bit panicked, and then he casts a spell on him to calm emotions, and he says, "All right, just give me 1 second," and then he like kind of steps aside a bit and goes back to his shrine.
He like whips his head back and whispers to Cass, "You see that? He just fucking killed that guy."
I trust me, I saw it. So I guess what we were trying to tell you earlier is to not kill this because there's some sort of brand on that was on all of them that gets destroyed when they're killed.
Why'd you kill it before you knew what it was?
The death cleric Theodore comes up to you and says, "This type of marking, they were already dead before they took form. Their lives are no longer on this plane." From what
so not like a metaphorical like they died.
So
It
they
was
were
like they actually dead.
Theodore goes up to you, Divino, and he says, "What happened is that it seems like this marking. I've seen similar markings in the past. It would seem that this type of mark would only be activated upon the death of a creature." And then he looks at the creature. He looks at like the brand which was once there is now gone. He says, "It would seem that this magic would only trigger if he were to die. So either he died before turning into this creature, either accidentally, or something else happened, or through other means." And he goes to the center. And Sophia says, "So, Theodore, what does this mean exactly?" "It means that there's some sort of demonic activity occurring. whatever happened to these halflings, they died. But some time before they died, or around the time of their deaths, it would seem that they were branded by some marking. And he says, Ulrich, would you mind showing everyone what this mark looked like? And then, like, everyone's kind of gathering around at this point to see the mark. And what do you guys do while all this is going on? He'll hide behind this.
Zer's kind of uncomfortable because he's expecting to get paid at this point and not really interested in this stuff.
Bretta's she's observing in the back. She's got nothing really to add or to say about it.
Don't you folks pay people after the job is done, or are you busy just sitting here ringing us for information?
At this point, Sophia speaks up. After we're concluded here, I shall pay you. Just be patient, please.
Alright.
I just look at everyone like I can't control this. This is...
Do any of you guys come closer to see the mark or no?
Zer's gonna start rolling a joint.
Fair enough.
Grimshaw's gonna teleport next to him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I already have a drawing of the mark. I know what it looks like.
Bretta, are you doing anything, or are you just sticking by this nearby shrine?
I'm just sticking by over here, observing in the back, just watching.
Okay.
They don't really know what's going on, so, like, they're just watching.
Grimshaw's gonna look back at Umbretta and give them the universal, like, sign for you want to smoke some weed.
Well, all this clerical shit's going on in the middle of the church. You guys are having a smoke sesh.
I'm like listening.
Fair enough. And then Davino, do you partake in this clerical matter, or do you smoke?
I reluctantly move up.
All right. So what you see, Davino, and I don't have like the actual picture of the brand ready yet, but I'll send it to you in your DMs. But what you basically see on the branding of the mark, like a better detail. When you saw like etchings of the brand, the only thing you really see is like, you know, former traces of a symbol. And even though I forget whether it was Umbretta or Cass that did like the drawing thing, but this is clearly more detailed than that. And you see, it seems like to be a weird, like pitchfork type of symbol, and underneath, like the left and right side of the picture, it seems like to be like satanic eyes, and it's all encapsulated in a circle, and the whole symbol is black. And you see, this is a symbol. I would have to do more research on this. And then he says, just give me some time, and then I shall let everyone know what has happened. And then he'll go back to your shrine. It will confer with his books. And then at this point, so he says, all right, everyone, it's time for everyone to go back to their clerical duties. Sorry, I'm just reading names here. Dathrin, John the Saints, would you be able to, and then John says, the grave cleric says, of course. And then while everyone's going to their back to their clerical duties, the Saints, and I was just gonna call him by his last name, the Saints, because it's easier than just saying John. Everyone will go back to their duties. Dathrin will go up to you, Davino, because you're his son. Everyone else will just kind of go back to doing their thing. You see that the halfling is a bit distraught. But nonetheless, you see the grave cleric carrying the body, and then just like bringing it over, and then eventually they make it to their quarter section, and then they vanish. And then Sophie says, excuse me, I gotta go get the coin to pay for your associates. I'll be right back, Davina. And then she'll go over here. Okay. And then says, are you alright, my son?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just I kind of need to clean this, and I just put up my warhammers. It's like all bloodied.
Hmm. You ran into some trouble, I see.
Yeah, I think like 6 of these, 8. I don't know, but then I point to the 4 in the back smoking.
You just see a big pile of smoke. At this point, this half elf woman who is part of who represents the god of trigger says, is that hash over there?
Is the holiest of herb.
May I partake in this session?
Of course.
Kaz is not coughing.
At this point, I'm gonna start playing guitar or a lute and walking down the path, and I'm gonna have Gaudi go around with the hat and take up.
Umbrella is coughing like an absolute baby.
Kaz like
this
slaps her
Claire.
slaps them on the back of the chest and like absolutely almost knocks you over. Sorry.
They're coughing even harder now.
At this point, this trigger cleric says, "Is this your first time smoking?" And then Esty continues to smoke like a champ.
No.
It seems like your bard friend over there is trying to play some tunes.
It's like the tune of like toss a coin to your witcher, except it's all, like, it's all
Yeah,
about
he
us
does
and
that.
what we did.
Go ahead and make a performance check.
It's a 15.
15.
He takes tips too. If you want to tip him, he takes tips.
Gaudi's making his rounds.
You see this cleric throw in a copper piece in. She says, "Sorry, that's all that I can really give out at the moment." As she continues to smoke. At this point, Davino, your father, Deathrin, continues this conversation and says, "Well, I'm glad you're safe." And then he goes back to doing his thing. And then at this point, your two... Meanwhile...
I message Grimshaw. I don't know how much money you're going to get if you're asking for donations from a place that asks for donations.
He responds back telepathically. No, not the barking.
Dog cameo.
He responds back telepathically. Yeah, it's always the religious ones that are cheap ones. And I'm gonna keep doing it. Even the copper piece will feed Gaudi another day.
Alright, this cleric of Vaughn, the god of the season storms, pays no attention to your performance. So here comes she says, "Oh, well, I was actually gonna go to you. Here," and she tosses your payment of 100 gold pieces in.
Nice.
Wow. A job well done.
And she continues, says, there is more work that I could possibly have lined up if you were to be interested. Of course, you'll be paid for your services.
Oh, certainly. What kind of services do you require?
Well, at the moment, we had to do more studying as far as the markings and what have you. Based on that, I shall let you know.
Interesting. Well, we will make our way in the world. And
Okay.
I'm going to continue my strumming, and I'm going to go over to this guy and do that like thing where they lean forward with the lute, strum real fast, and make eye contact.
He looks at you for a brief second, and then he just ignores you.
Someone else then.
Sophia goes over here and hands you 3 100 gold pieces each. And then she goes...
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
while she, of course, this is for your services. I might have more work lined up in the future based on what Ulrich could find, if you would be so interested. Of course, to pay, obviously, you'll be paid for your services.
Sure. Keep me in the loop.
All right. And then while she's conferring with that, your 2 fellow clerics of the Twilights, Broman and Golixia, says, "Davino, sorry we would have talked to you sooner, but seems like you and your dad were having a bit of a talk." Says, I'm trying to say this name correctly, Golixia. And then Broman's like, "Yeah, man, like what went down in the forest, bro?"
Did a prayer for dead unicorn.
Galaxa says, "Wait, a unicorn died?
Yeah.
Oh, how sad."
I know, I like got really angry and I like smashed a bunch of like imp heads in.
Broman's like, "Man, that sounds like a hell of a Friday night." Sorry, probably a bad joke.
Saved a toddler unicorn. I'm not really sure the age. A toddler unicorn joined the head. Came back here. Paladins up front were all like, "Oh my god."
Oh yeah, those Palladium guards
Wow.
take their job way too seriously.
Oh, it's like, God, they just need a really good drink. But yeah, there's, and I point the three over there, and then the one that's like separating himself.
Actually, yeah, Zer's about to head to the Hall of Meats.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
much better coin to be had there.
They all did a pretty good job. Like, honestly, it was quick whack.
Oh, that's good. Well, anyways, we gotta get back to our training, but we should head to the brewery sometime afterwards. Will you be there?
If she, and I point to Sophia, doesn't eat me and I can escape. Hi!
Yeah. She says, "Oh, I almost forgot you, Davino." She hands you 100 gold pieces. She says, "Do not use this money wisely." And then she goes over back to her corner.
I think I'm going to be able to escape later.
All right. So at this point, what does the party do?
Ales?
Yeah,
Hall of Meats.
I suppose.
Alrighty. Your friends, Davino, go back to Sophia. What do you do?
I'm gonna message Sophia and be like, I'm gonna go with them. Let me know if you need me, okay, bye.
She messages you back. She says, "Very well, Davino, you do deserve the rest. Good work today." Before you guys leave, this trickery cleric says, "Oh, I'm Rachel, by the way. I'm the head cleric of the Trigger Domain. If that's, by the way, that's some good tunes you got there. Dragonborn, what's your name?"
Grimshaw Rex.
"Well, Grimshaw, magnificent music. The copper piece I put there is not ordinary copper piece. You should probably take a look at it when you get a chance." And she finishes off the rest of her weed, and she says, "Well, my break is over. You guys have fun." And then she goes back to doing her thing.
As we're walking out, I'm going to message, I think you said they were a halfling, the friend of Timothy.
Not necessarily a friend of Timothy, more like a colleague. You know him as... I'm trying to read my notes here.
Chimney.
I have a list of names here. His name's Morin Smoothhands.
I'm just gonna message him. I will be at the hall if you want to talk, or if you want to give me more information, because you apparently knew the naked halflings. Sorry for your loss. You seemed really sad.
He messaged me and says, "I'll be fine. I just gotta keep myself busy. Carry on."
So before we leave, can I walk up to this woman and like pick up a pamphlet?
Sure. She says, "Oh, you're interested in the teachings of Jasper."
Yeah, I want to read it a little bit, read up on it,
She
See
gives
what
you
the-
said pamphlet.
what the gist is. Thank you.
Alrighty. You guys level up to level 2. You'll do that during the break, unless you could do it while play. But we can do that during break and go over that during break.
Oh yeah.
But just to keep the flow going, you guys go back to... Oh, whoops. Wrong selection. Again, trying to get used to Bear Rodeo's new layout. Alright. It's loading. All right. Let me load you guys in real quick. The audience could see the new Owlbear Rodeo, how it looks. Oh, that's the wrong folder. Here we go. And, well, bam! All of you are there. I just gotta shrink Gotti. All
Can you attach Gotti to me?
I could try. Hold on. There is a way to actually attach tokens now, thanks to Owlbear Rodeo. See, replace image, copy, attach. Oh, here we go. Attach to you. Okay, you should be attached. Move your token.
Nice.
There you go.
That person's at your tables there.
Kill him.
At this point, you guys enter the tavern. You see a bunch of people come in. You see 4 gentlemen engaging in a card game. You also see like a family around this corner. You also see a bunch of Palladium guards taking up one side of the meat hall, drinking, sharing stories of what have you. You do see, and this is where I should probably grab my other notes. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, y'all. Here we are. This is where you see the tavern owner, Asmar. And other than that, you do also see what seems like to be the blacksmiths eating after a hard day's work. And you see at the distance around the corner a couple of halflings as well. But you guys are free to explore.
Marky.
Oh,
Here.
Grimshaw, welcome back.
Oh, I was pretty sure it was this place. I forget.
It's only the most notable tavern in the entire island. So what brings you in? You're ready to play the gig we agreed upon?
The most notable tavern does need the most notable bard. I would absolutely love to jam this place up.
Of course, just pick a space that is free to open and play your tunes. And what about the rest of you? What are you all doing?
Chicken, now.
You got a coin, friend. How much chickens would you like?
He pulls out 5 gold.
He goes, all right, very well, 3 chickens. And he takes the gold. And he says, hey, Linda. Yeah, we need 3 chickens for the big guy over here. Very well. And she goes up.
Also, is there... Okay. If there's anything that tastes better than the ale I had last time, that would be great.
Well, other than ale, we do have coffee here. It's a relatively new drink, if you're interested in that. Other than that, we do also have some wine, too.
Wine? That's made with fruit, right?
Yes.
Okay, I would love some of that.
Would you like a glass or a bottle?
I guess a bottle. You could share it with everyone if they'd like some.
It's kind of expensive for the bottle.
Well, how much?
Well, 1 bottle is worth about 20 gold pieces. For a
20?
glass, it would be worth about 2 gold pieces.
Oh, okay. Well, not sure when my next job will be, so just the glass for now.
Very well. And you give him the 2 gold. He says, you guys could have any open seats. It doesn't matter where you sit. I'll make sure you guys are well fed. And what about you, as Asmar points to you, Umbretta? What can I get for you?
I'll just take a simple meal.
All right, so that'll only be about 2 gold pieces.
Okay, here you go.
Very well. You may take any seats if you wish. All right.
And as they sit down, they're gonna pull out that pamphlet and start reading on it.
All right. So what you're reading is basically what Jasper's religion is about. It goes into detail about who Jasper is. Jasper is the god of trickery and the arts. Usually gets a bad connotation. However, that is not the case. Jasper just likes to do mischievous stuff rather than, just doing foul play. But he is also the god of the arts. So, barding, yes, wine in this economy edge. E-dog. But you get the feeling that this might be a god if you're into like tricks, mischief, or any form of the arts.
Okay. Bretta's gonna like wave the pamphlet and look at Grimshaw. Yeah, this one looks like it might be for you.
You see Grimshaw getting ready.
Grimshaw like looks up for a second. He's like, well, they're not so much tricks as they are great feats of magic.
Ah, yes.
I am gonna do the Ballad of the Bloody Unicorn.
Oh
he,
shit!
he's like written like a. I'm not
Oh my
actually gonna
God.
perform it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
He has written a ballad about the unicorn, like the revenge that we got, and sort of like turn it into this big kind of production. And I'm gonna use my new spell. I'm gonna use Silent Image to create a 15-foot wall of color and light behind me. That is basically like, I don't know, I like puppet theater version of us,
Sure.
kinda.
Sure.
Aw.
All right. Go ahead and make a performance check for me.
Is a 17.
All right. You play your Ballad of the Unicorn. You're kind of a little bit of improving, mainly because like you just like are writing this song and you know the basis of the song. But as you play, a lot of people start to look towards you, and this seems like a pretty good performance.
I'm gonna have Gotti go around and when the song is kind of winding down to collect
Sure.
some dosh.
Of course. So while the Ballad of the Unicorn is playing, Kaz, Davina, what are you two talking? While the barmaid comes back with like Zer's 3 trinkets, places it down. Here you are, sir. And then they go over here and gives you your meal, your wine, Kaz. And it says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get anything from you. Would you like anything, sir?"
Just a very light meal and some water.
Very well. That'll be about 2 gold pieces.
And I give her the 2 gold pieces.
Very well. Thank you very much. I'll be right back. And then she goes up.
You did good work with the unicorn's mother.
I mean, you did as well. I mean, I don't think the gods would have noticed if it was just me growing some mushrooms.
You'd be surprised what they notice.
Well, I am hoping that they do notice me a bit. I have something I really do need to talk with them about. It's the whole reason I came here.
Anyone in particular?
I don't know. I never really, believed in the gods. But I saw this on my birthday a couple months ago. I saw a giant comet across the sky, and something inside of me is telling me that it means that something bad is going to happen, and they should know that happened. I don't know.
There. So I don't know how familiar you are with the orders, but depending on which god you'd want to talk to is who I'd start with. Like,
Yeah. Not
Like-
particularly familiar. I mean, the god is, to my, tribe at home, is the forest itself, not like a god of the forest. So, I don't know. I just wanted to talk to all of them, I guess.
it'd be easier. You're not gonna like really get an audience with like all of them. It's more like pick one at a time and try to have someone intercede on your behalf. It's really weird. They kind of get fussy with who they want to talk to.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
it's
maybe
kind of
I'll-
an issue sometimes.
maybe I'll read that brochure that Bretta grabbed at some
That
point.
that one's like a god who likes a lot of mischief. So if you want like honest answers, probably your worst bet.
Worst places to start.
You could, Sophia, the one who kind of like put me in this conundrum to begin with.
Yes.
You may want to speak with her. Like,
Mhm.
our goddess is like of the moon, which is kind of close to comets. I don't know. It might be better
Yeah.
lucky with that. It's kinda
Sure.
closer.
Yeah. I guess I'll ask her next time I see her.
And then like my
Thank you.
father's like, his god's all about like the sun, which is kind of like a comet, but it doesn't move as fast. I don't really get it, but
The sun and the moon.
just like
Yeah.
it's up there and
Yeah.
they point up, so I'm like, it's kind of related.
Generally related. I'll thank you. I will speak with both of them when I get the chance.
All right.
She like drinks half of her glass of wine in one go.
It tastes really, really good.
Oh hell yeah.
At this point, Gotti comes around the table and says, "Tips, tips."
I'm sorry, Grimshaw. I'm not paying you the money that we chose to get.
I like facepalm, like Gotti, not them.
Gotti, remember when we
People
talked
we
about
don't
throwing
know.
you over the river? That plan is still on the table.
Oh,
I
okay.
will still
okay.
throw.
Okay. Catches it in the hat, and then he'll go up all around throughout the bar, basically. All right.
I would like to, because I went up to the body and I got a really good look at Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
You said that was like a group of halflings?
It was a group of halflings that were turned from the forms that they were in. Yes.
And no, but this is the table on the very left are
all halflings. Those are commoner halflings. Yes.
Do any of them look like Timothy? Like they'd be
No.
related?
No, they do not. All right. At this point, the barmaid comes down. She goes up to you and Bretta. She says, "Here you go, miss. Sorry it took a while. The 3 chickens took a bit. So, here you are." And she gives you your food.
I understand. Thank you.
Of course. If you need anything, just let me know. And then she'll go down to you and give you your food, Defino. And then you hear one of the blacksmiths say, "Hey, we need more ale." She says, "All right, you all have to give me some gold pieces." And then they'll each throw in their share of gold pieces, and then she'll go back up. But yeah, Zer, you are devouring your chicken. You're on chicken 2, and you're eating half of it. Would you like to do anything else, or would you like to continue eating on said chicken?
I'm just observing the room while eating my chicken.
Fair enough. You are observing, well, other than Grimshaw's performance, you do see Davino and Cass having a conversation. You see these dwarves are getting drunker and drunker off ale. You see these 2 couple that seem to be on some sort of a date. You see Grimshaw walking around towards these halflings, asking for coin. You see what seems like to be an intense card game going on over here. You see a man in the corner just counting coin. And then you also see this group of farmers who seems like to be having a meal.
Sweet. I'm gonna just keep devouring.
Fair enough. All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, if the people on the date, does it seem like they're on their first date, or are they like in a couple that's been together for a while?
You get the feeling
From
this
what I
might
can
be
see.
their second date.
Ooh. Does the guy have like a bag or something?
He does have a small satchel on this, basically going over one of the
Okay, sweet.
over the chairs. Excuse me. I had to
Hell
think of
yeah.
words.
Hell yeah! I am so using Druidcraft to make put a little rose in his bag, that he'll find later and hopefully give to her.
Alrighty. Cool. Good stuff. Divino, you notice this?
I was gonna give guidance if there was a roll involved.
No, there's no roll
No, it's
involved.
just a.
This will
cantrip.
happen.
This must happen.
This was the entire plot.
Entire plot is just matchmaking.
All right.
I'm gonna message Umbrella and be like, you could sit over here with us. You don't need to like be over there by yourself. We kind of just killed a bunch of like demon into naked halfling things.
Britta's mouth is like full of the food, but she picks up her plate and comes over.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for the invite, friends.
And I'm gonna send the same message to Zer, even though he's like, you don't need to respond. I know you have like 5 chickens or something in front of you.
He's on chicken
But
number
you're-
3 at this point.
But you're like, welcome to sit here.
Zer's not gonna put down his chicken this time. He's just gonna keep eating. He's gonna look over and he's just gonna point at the chicken and then give a thumbs up and then keep eating.
Very important.
The barmaid
And
comes down.
I do not message Grimshaw because he is actively working.
And then the dwarf and blacksmiths go, "Hey, thank you." And then she'll Karen says, "Would you guys like anything else? It's getting quite late. Would you guys like a room?"
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
that sounds nice.
well, how much time are you spending in the rooms? As far as days is concerned.
I was hoping to pay day by day.
We could do
not
that.
Quite sure.
It would be about 5 gold pieces per night.
Okay.
And then it goes up and down depending on which type of room you'd like.
Well, what's the type of rooms?
Well, some of the rooms are shared, some of them are single. Some of them have one large bed to fit 2 people. Some rooms have a desk. They vary in coins, ranging from 5 gold pieces to 10 gold pieces.
If unless people are wanting to share rooms to cut down on costs, I'll just have a room to myself.
I live here, otherwise I would.
Zer walks over when he hears about beds. Is like, how much is one with a big bed?
The big bed would be about 10 gold pieces.
And you have a barn out back, right?
Say again, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
You have a barn out back.
We don't have a bar upstairs, but we could offer you food and drink in your room, yes?
No, a barn.
Oh, a barn? Unfortunately, I do
Like where
not,
the
unfortunately.
I'll
Is this
go
an
find
issue?
one.
You sure? You're welcome
Yeah.
to sleep here.
No, I need a big space. I don't want to pay gold. That's a lot of gold. And I need a big space.
Very well. Suit yourself. And what about you 3?
I'll pay for a single room.
Alright, that'll be about 5 gold pieces.
I will as well.
That'll be 5
Awesome.
gold pieces.
I live by the temple, so I'm not.
Yeah,
going to
you
be
could just
paying
go to your home, so
Like,
that's
I'm
not
gonna go
an issue.
home. But thanks for the invite to spend money to stay here. Appreciate it.
At this point, Gotti comes back to you, Grimshot, says, "Grimshot, look!" And you look at the pot, you see a 25 gold pot in your hat.
Damn!
At this
All
point,
right.
Asmar goes behind us, he says, "As agreed, here is your room key," and he hands you your room key. It should be enough for you two to fit in, and of course, we'll discuss payment. I believe we agreed upon a 60-30 or 50-50, I believe.
Some of those numbers don't work out, but here's the premium cut of the take. I give him 7 gold.
All right, he takes it. He says, "Thank you very much." And would you like anything to drink? Eat? You probably need something to eat after that performance.
He looks at his wallet and the gold he's just made. It's road rations for me tonight.
You sure?
He gives him a nod, I'm sure.
Very well. If you change your mind, just let one of my barmaids know. And he goes back to behind the desk. You want him attached to yourself again?
No, it's fine. I'm not super worried about it. It's just-
Okay. All right. So, all right, you can join the rest of the party.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna walk over. Well, sun do be setting. I think I'm gonna call an early night.
So if there's more work, I guess I can find you 3 here.
Until further notice, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds solid.
Yeah, if I'm
I'll
not here,
stay
I'll,
here.
if I'm not here, I'll be at the market.
And I'm gonna message Kaz really quick. If you need me, like, just go to the main church and they'll send someone for me.
Thank you.
Um,
Nice to meet you today, I guess.
right, we went from, like, total strangers to, like, oh my god, there's a rampaging baby,
Right.
like a toddler unicorn, like.
The couple decides to walk out, and then, as they leave through the door, he says, "Oh, by the way, I got you this." And then he gives her the flower that you made, and then they continue to leave, and she seems pretty
Yes.
impressed.
Dating sim achievement
Yes.
accomplished.
Yes. Little thing above my head. And Kaz is extremely happy to see that.
Very good, very
And-
good.
And would I know of, like, any barns in the area?
Yeah, the staples.
I will. I will message Zer where those are. But also be careful. A lot of people here are very pious and may not be very friendly if you just like go into someone's stables without their permission. Just a heads up. If you need me, I'll be at the temple or at my house, and the temple can send for me.
I am not comfortable with this mode of communication.
Please call back. All right.
But I will head to the stables.
Alrighty. You guys get a long rest.
Woo.
We did it!
Long rest, long rest, long rest.
So I'm gonna edit some tokens here real quick. So I'm just gonna continue on to the next day. It's the next day, and what you guys see, well, it depends. So Davino, you go back home, and as you do, you see your father, and you guys have a weird, uncomfortable time with one another, as obvious. And then you eventually went back to sleep. But I keep forgetting there's an easier way of doing this. But nonetheless, you rest well. Zer, you find a nearby barn, which is really like a staple. You find like a decent staple, and it's comfortable. You're with horses, of course, and just trying to, because the space is big enough for your size, you're able to sleep kind of comfortably. Like, you're probably used to this type of sleeping arrangement, I believe.
Yes, I came from barbaric trenches, as they call it. So this is great.
All right, so let's see. Grimshaw and Gaudy, you get one of the rooms with the big beds, and as you do, it's enough for like 2 people, but you can do whatever you want in there, depending.
He just kind of sits on the bed and he like takes out his road ration, which just looks like a cracker. He just cracks it in half and shares it with Gaudy. Just sit there and hang out.
Gaudy says, why are we eating rations? We had enough money.
Gaudy, if you want to get past this place and all this poverty and lies and deceptions, there's only one way you can buy yourself out. That's with gold. Keep it, treasure it, spend it when you need it.
Okay. And then he'll reluctantly eat the ration. Kaz, you go to sleep. It's a wonderful dream. So you're in a... I don't know what your experience is with beds, because you are a furbolg. But this bed seems to be kind of comfortable.
Yeah, not much experience with beds, mostly just like sleeping mats. Kat spends like a lot of time before she goes to bed, either like looking out the window or trying to find a way to get onto the roof to look at the stars here, and is like jotting down any differences in the constellations in this part of the world from her hometown.
Fair enough. You do get a sense of like constellations that are kind of further away, but now you're closer to those, and the ones that were around your home are a bit further away. It's like they kind of like swapped, and it's from a different perspective, of course.
Nito, definitely drawing that out before I hit the hay.
All right, and Umbrella, you are alone in your room. What would you like to do?
They instantly plop onto the bed and pass out.
Fair enough. All right, it's the next day, and you guys are all coming down. The scent of coffee is in the air, and as you guys are coming down to turn in your keys for the evening, you do see Asmar try to kick the blacksmith. Says, "You fucking drunk, get the fuck up!" And he like kicks this guy. He says, "Come on, Seamus, you need to wake up." He says, "What? Oh shit! I forgot to open the store." He says, "Man, we gotta wake up. We gotta open the store." And then he's like haphazardly like trying to wake up his voice. Oh, I accidentally deleted his token, but it's all good.
Because he went to the store.
Yep.
You went.
In fact, that's
Got
what
up.
all of them were doing, like one at a time. You're like, huh, this is weird. But the scent of coffee is in the air. They're kind of like scattered all over the place. You get the feeling they probably had a rough night. But nonetheless, you seeing this, he says, "Sorry about that. Sometimes those blacksmiths get very well drunk, for lack of a better term. Did you all sleep well?"
For the most part, yeah.
Very
Yes.
good, very good. Zura, at this point, you go in knowing that there's probably more chicken.
Oh yeah.
He turns and goes, "Ah, you are back. More chicken, I presume, unless you want a different meat."
He slams down another 6. It's like, chicken me up.
Fair enough. Linda! Yeah? More chicken! Oh, man. You're gonna... We need to order more chickens. And then she goes upstairs. And she says, excuse me, to get more chicken.
This poor chicken. It's slaughtered.
Sit wherever you like. It's a pretty open place. Could I entertain you with some coffee?
What
Yes.
is that?
I'll
It's
take a cup.
It is a new drink that they made recently, last year. It's supposed to give you a lot of energy. Sure helps me a lot. He drinks like a cup. And it tastes pretty well. We sell it for about 5 gold pieces, but that's because of the grains coming from the outskirts.
I can't, in good conscience, spend 3 chickens worth on 1 cup of a drink.
Suit yourself. Any of you guys would like some coffee?
Yes.
No, just water for me.
All right, then that'll be some gold pieces. And then she says, I could tell Linda to brew you some. Anything you guys like to eat, like sausage or eggs or anything of the like?
Potato hash, if you have it.
I can see what we could work with.
I'm good on food. Just the coffee for me, thanks.
Fair enough.
Running on fumes.
That'll be about 3 silver pieces for the hash.
Okay.
Hey, he screams up and says, Linda, we need hash if we have it.
Linda's gonna kill him.
I'm gonna start turning over that copper coin that Jasper gave me.
You flip it. It's not an ordinary copper piece. It is, in fact, has a holy symbol of Jasper on it, which you recognize based on your background. It is a yellow serpent wrapping around itself around a lute, and you see that the actual emblem is gold, and the rest of the copper piece is that of like a copper piece. You thought it was a fake, but you aren't too sure the other properties of it.
All right, I'm gonna just hang on to it.
Alrighty. Davino, you go to your church, and Sophia says to tell your friends to come to the church for another job proposal, and she sends you off.
God, she never gives me any extra. I'll go.
After
Over.
after we're done eating, I was thinking about heading to the market. If any of you'd like to.
Sure. I didn't bring very much with me.
Supplies for another adventure do seem a necessity.
You see Davina walking through the door.
Oh.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Abby,
Oh.
You're back so soon.
There's already another job. She won't give me a day off.
No rest for the wicked.
Or me. I'm not wicked. I just need a.
Linda comes back. She says, "Here are your chickens," and then she brings the 3 chickens. Like you know, you're like eating a lot of our chickens, you know, right? If you eat too much, we might not have a lot. For
Thank
Still
you.
have therefore to be eaten.
she
I
hands you.
thank you.
She
He's
hands.
paying good money for this chicken.
She hands you the coffee.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, you drink it. It tastes really, really good. For lack of a better term, it's like black coffee, but it's a little bit sweet, if that makes sense. You also gain a benefit for the next. Let me roll here. For the next hour, you have any advantage. You have advantage on any dexterity checks, as it makes you a bit more jittery.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
For
Hey
the
guys,
next
I'm
hour.
feeling a little amped.
You look like you're shaking.
Are you like okay?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
That's
So-
when people say when they're not good.
Did she say anything about the job, or is it another cryptic show up and then I'll tell you sort of thing?
What would make my life easier? She chose the other option of whatever that was.
Oh, show up. Right. Okay.
Obviously, we'll wait for, and I start counting that many chickens to be done.
There's just devouring set chickens.
Oh no! Don't worry about it. I can take 2 of them. Or we can walk. I can carry 'em.
It's not good for the
I just
digestion.
need to eat at least one.
Enjoy. It's not good for the digestion.
I
to rush.
promise. I will.
I'm just imagining
eat-
this in my head. It's great.
Zer, do you eat anything other than meat?
Well, see, the thing is, I'm 270 pounds, and I used to be 320 when I had a big diet. And in order for me to keep my physique as is, I have to eat mostly protein diet, and I can only eat chicken and fish. I am hungry a lot of the times. If I could eat red meat again, I would be full longer, but this is what I'm stuck with.
Why can't you eat red meat anymore?
I have an iron allergy.
Oh, okay.
That sucks. Bulking, I've heard it.
Maybe you could ask one of the high-level clerics to see if they can cure your allergy.
Oh no, that's what the herbs are for. I mean, I just adjust my lifestyle. It's a lifestyle adjustment.
Mm.
It's like these
Right.
spectacles with my astigmatism. It's just things you learn.
Yes, like the vegetarianism.
I don't know what that is.
I don't eat any meat or I guess cheese and honey and eggs are fine, but no meat.
Although I'm a monk, there are still things that are inconceivable to my imagination. And what you just said is one of them.
Well, my tribe's whole deal is taking care of the animals in the forest and such. Why would I eat them if I can talk to them?
Don't they eat each other?
Well, yes, but I don't know. Mountain lions and deer can't communicate, and I can talk to both of them.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm still a bugbear.
That's true. That's true. You are the. Never mind.
But like, the mountain lion would still eat you. So like, you're
Right.
still a part of the food chain, whether you
Right, I would
participate.
kill it, but in self-defense, but I wouldn't eat it afterwards.
But wouldn't that be more wasteful?
I mean, we use every other part of it. I just don't eat the meat. Well, now you're making me have a bit of a crisis.
Well, if you think about
I've just
it,
never had meat
Oh,
before.
yep.
Sounds really wasteful to me. I mean, just
well, if you think about it, you eat an entire I don't know what your example was, like a leopard. You eat that. That's just feeding one person, but you leave that out there to rot, and you're feeding an entire ecosystem.
See? Exactly. Thank you, Grimshaw. That is exactly what I think the deal
Look,
is.
I get in trouble a lot for asking questions because then I'm like, what if you create like a disproportionate food source for one creature and then that displaces other? Like it's
Well, I mean, I don't go out of my way to kill other things. I kind of just leave them be and let them do their thing. And I
No.
grow and eat carrots.
Okay, so are we leaving town for this job? Because
We should probably.
More than likely, I'm headed
So-
to the market to gather equipment for Gaudi.
maybe we can find some fish there.
Sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are going to the market or to the church?
maybe we should go find out what the job is before so we don't have to go
Oh.
twice.
Yeah, so we know what we're getting.
If we have to
I only
Yeah.
need basic adventuring supplies that would be useful anywhere, but
Do you have pythons?
no, there's no mountains.
I don't know, but maybe you have to climb like a really tall tree and pythons would be help.
I'm pretty sure the crossbow I'm gonna buy will be useful anywhere.
You say so.
Whatever. We can go check it out. We can leave.
Yeah, let's see what they need.
Yeah.
All right. To the church. It's loading. All right. You guys are back at the church. Let me attach Gaudi back to you, Grimshaw, just so. There. It's attached to you now. All right, you guys come back into the church. Rachel goes up to you, Umbrella, and she says, "Have you look at the pamphlet, my child?"
Yes, I have. I'm very interested in this Jasper god.
Well, come. I'll tell you more about Jasper. And then she kind of guides you to the shrine. All right. So while that's going on, Davine, you see Sophia says, "Ah, yes, Divino, you have brought him back."
Yep. And then I'm gonna, while she's coming, I'm just gonna point to the other high elf on the far left, be like, and like that's my father. If you want to talk with him about like
Oh,
the
yes.
sun god, and then
Oh, yes.
and then and then this is Sophia, so
Mhm.
the goddess of the moon. Like for your questions, like now, later, whenever, just
I guess I'll ask after we learn what the job is.
All right. She goes up to you, she says, "Well, Davino, well, first let me get Ulrich here. Ulrich, can you come and help me for a second?" She says, and he goes, "Oh, yes, of course, Sophia." And then he goes over to Sophia and says, "So, what Ulrich has discovered that this symbol is similar to that of some cultish resemblance. There haven't been a lot of cults as of late, but that's what he thinks. Ulrich, if you could explain further." "Oh, yes, of course. I see that the symbol that I've discovered is definitely a cultish, but not a cult that I've seen. I think it's relatively new. I figured that it could either be remnants of the old cults that were excommunicated or abolished, or this could be a brand new cult, but we don't know the actual origin of it. So we was wondering if you could gather, well, based on you lots, I know if any member of the church would try to interfere in such matters, that they would not be, well, respectful towards us. So we was wondering if you could go find a feller in the markets, a shady individual, but he'll look very apparent. Should be easily finding him. Whether that be one of your comrades speaking with him or what have you. He would know a lot more information about the occults and what have you. Of course, we'll pay you all fairness."
How much fairness?
He says, "Well, it depends. You can either come back to tell us what he knows, and we'll give you 50 gold pieces each. Otherwise, if you want to investigate further, you might find other findings. such as like where a cult might be located, and if you wish to investigate the matter further, we could pay you more compensation based on what happened. But 50 is the starting rate.
Well, I mean, seems like good pay to go talk to somebody.
Job is a job.
And we're going
It's like a
anywhere.
sliding scale thing. The more we do, the more we get paid. So
Practically. But ideally, if you wish to get paid more, then it's expected to do more. But if you do not wish to do any more, then you could get paid based on what work you've done.
We'll see what we can rustle up.
Very good, very good. Well, obviously, if you need anything from the market, you could definitely purchase stuff at the market. But if you have any questions of any matters, just let us know. And then he'll go back to his area. And then Sophia says, well, I do wish you luck. If you need anything, just let me know. Then she'll go back. What do you lots do?
do you need some time, or do you want to go to the market?
Yeah. Do you mind? I'll be. You guys can leave if you want. I just have a quick question for Sophia and Davino's father. What is his name?
Oh, my father?
Yeah, like his first name.
Dathrin?
Dathrin.
Yeah, and then I
Okay.
just point to
I
the guy
thought you were
who
going
is-
to say dad.
Yeah, right? It's a fun family joke.
Okay, sure.
I'll just.
Thank
Do
you.
you wanna? Do you want me to just introduce you? That way he's not like,
yes.
who are you?
That'd be
Okay.
great, I suppose.
Please.
Umbretta, basically while all this was going on, she basically tells you the teachings of like the trickery, monarch, the trickery god. Not saying everything from the pamphlet, but basically like a summarized version of it. And she says, well, as long as mischief in the world can be fun, but, there's two different types of mischief. Those good, those bad. I'm assuming you know which ones I'm referring to.
Yes.
And of course, if you're involved with the arts, Jasper would be the god to pray to. Maybe he might aid you. But I could only guide you through. Walk the path of Jasper you must do. Here. And she gives you a holy symbol of Jasper, which again is a yellow serpent wrapping itself around a loop.
Thank you for your help.
Of course.
And they're gonna put it in their pocket and then walk back to the party. Grimshaw.
May Jasper guide you in your adventures. And be safe, my child.
Thank you.
Alright, let's go to you, Kaz. At this you see your father, Davino.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, son.
So this is Kaz. She's not looking to convert, but she has maybe some questions.
Kaz, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, good to meet you as well. Yes, so like he said, the reason I came to God's Landing is, so I've always studied the stars, and, the night phenomena in the sky. And a few months ago, I saw this comet that something bad is going to happen, and I fear it was an omen. Really bad, like world-ending bad. And I just,
Right.
I wanted to talk to the gods in general. Davino said that's not a good idea or something that can even happen. So here I am, just asking people.
Like it's not easy.
Dathrin says, well, of course, it is impossible to physically speak with the gods. And he kind of rolls his eyes at you, Davino. He says, but I can offer you guidance and perhaps maybe clearer views of your vision. If you don't mind, come to the altar. And he goes over here.
Sure.
He's such a dick.
and you see him like pour some incense, and you see him do some divine casting, and it seems like he's casting an augury spell. He says, "Now I'm gonna just place my thumbs on your foreheads. You might feel a bit weird, but do not worry." And then
Okay.
after this should further explain your visions, and just let me know what you see. And he puts his thumbs to your head, and all of a sudden your head rolls back. Davino, you see her eyes glowing this bright star-like color, and I'll tell your visions that you see when we come back from break.
Sweet.
Alrighty, so we'll take a quick 5-minute break while everyone levels up. So we'll be back in a few minutes, so we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
welcome back. Everyone has finished leveling up, and we will continue where we left off. So, like I said before we went on break, some form of an augury spell is made by Deathrin, and he puts his thumbs to your forehead, and your head snaps back, and starry eyes are glowing in your eyes, Kaz. And what you see five visions actually. First one, you see multiple comets, the same one you saw, seems like to be almost ages ago, pass over your island, but it's now more passing your island along over God's Landing, along over the continent to the east. Your next vision, you see that your village seems to be raided by some folk. Seems like to be some swamp monsters or whatever the case. You can't really discern, but in the background, you do see what seems like to be a large beast with leathery wings and horns that are shaped like a crown and spewing something out of its breath. The next vision you see seems like to be two armies of wizards combating one another, and as they're combating, terraforming and ruining the land all around them. The next vision you see is something a bit more concerning. You see the forests, which you recognize as Sylvia's forests, and you see what seems like to be an obelisk in the middle of it. And above the obelisk, you see some sort of like portal gateway opening with fiendish creatures similar to the ones you faced yesterday coming out of it, of a variety of sizes and types. And then the next vision you see is all of Gladria seem to be burning, and above all of that seems to be a pair of orange eyes and looking down at it. And as it looks at you, you snap back into reality. And Davino, you know that only takes like for you it's just like almost like 2 seconds. For you, Cass, it feels like 5 minutes have passed.
Oh.
Are you alright?
Kaz is like supporting herself on the altar.
Deep breaths.
A little bit.
Deep breaths. Dad, you have to warn people before
Holy
you do it. They've never experienced this before.
I have, my son. I already let her know in advance.
Well, something bad certainly will happen. Shit. It's everywhere.
What did you see exactly?
Oh my god, I saw Gladria burning and something looking at me. There's an obelisk in the middle of the forest here. That's where the fiendish creatures are coming from, I think.
It seems like the gods have given you sights of this possible solution to our problem with the creatures of the forest.
There's a couple other things. My village back home has been raided, I think, by something.
Keep in mind, you are seeing visions, nonetheless, events that occurred.
Oh. Well, either it has happened, will happen, might happen. Okay, damn, I guess that was, enlightening. Thank you. I have to think about this.
Of course.
She just kind of, like, walks off, looking a little off-kilter to join everyone else.
Alrighty.
You alright, Kaz?
Yeah, nothing for you guys to worry about right now. I'll fill you in a little bit.
Alright. And Davina...
Thanks, Dad. I'm gonna get going.
Stay safe, my son.
You too, and... Okay, bye.
Alrighty. Alright. You guys all exit. You guys all go to the marketplace. As I am loading it up. Alright, let me put your tokens here real quick. Give me one moment here. You're coming from the east side, so boom! There you're all there. Of course, I gotta shrink Gaudy. Alrighty. So you guys all approach the marketplace. The marketplace is full of vendors, either local or even from other lands. But all that you're trying to find, according to what Sophia told you, Davino, is to find some shady figure. But nonetheless, you guys are at the marketplace.
I just point at the guy at the very center. That guy looks pretty shady.
What, this guy right over here?
Yeah, he's giving me
he
a,
looks okay.
giving me a high creep factor.
Listen,
you know?
you'd point at me too if I was that guy in the middle. So
Honestly,
Yeah,
you
but
also
you're with
kind of
us.
like kind of shady too. So like, let's not judge people.
just because
Well-
I wear a cloak doesn't mean I'm shady.
No, not you. And I point to Grimshaw.
Oh,
asking for
yes.
money.
Very, very shady.
Who's always asking for money, even in a church.
Hey, I got it, didn't I? Alright, I'm gonna go find an armorer. And I am gonna split off to try to find someone who sells armor.
Who sells armor? Okay. What do the rest of you do?
Looking for somebody who sells fish.
Okay. Alrighty.
Um,
What about everyone else? Oh, I forgot to attach you to Gaudy. Hold on.
Na's gonna walk up towards the center a little bit. Just keep her eyes on that guy
Oops.
in the center.
yeah. Kaz is
Okay, you should be good.
Going to-
Grimshaw.
Kaz is just gonna like peruse everything and also just like keep her eye on the weird guy in the middle.
Okay. And then, okay, sir. So let's start with you, sir. You are trying to find fish, and you see this halfling couple says, "Fish, got fresh fish here, fresh from the forest, fresh from the sea. Would anyone like some fish?"
Yes, hello.
Oh, whoa, you're big.
Don't do that. Just give me some fish, please.
All right. How many would you like?
How many do you have?
You see barrels upon barrels of fish behind him. You see, well, if you want anything from the sea, it would be worth 1 silver piece, but from anything from the forest, it would be worth 1 gold piece per fish. How many would you like?
I take out 3 gold pieces. I'll take as many ocean fish as this could get me.
Very well. You get, I think, for every 10 gold pieces, 10 silver pieces, 1 gold piece. So you get about 30 fish from the sea. So you get 30 fish. And they all put it in like 1 big sack for your convenience.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoy those fish.
Better.
All right, so Grimshaw, what are you doing?
I'm looking for someone to buy armor and weapons.
That would probably be... You're looking all around and you see this guy says, "We sell armor and wares. Durable ones, I assure you. You, kind sir, would you be invested in my wares?"
My dear noble trader, why I most certainly am.
Well, what
I
kind of
require-
armor are you looking for?
I require 1 set of studded leather armor for an adult dragonborn, as well as a light crossbow.
Well, I don't have weapons. I do have armor, though. But let me see what I can find for your size. Give me 1 moment. And he's looking around in his inventory. He goes, yes, here you are. And he pulls out the studded leather armor. He says, "Now, usually these would sell for about 45 gold pieces. And the dwarves over by the god's army would probably charge you an arm and a leg for it. But I am willing to sell this studded leather armor." And you look, you see it's clearly used armor, but it's not like worn a lot. He says, "For this, I can let it go for about 30 gold pieces."
Well, dear friend, I see that its condition is indeed refurbished. You know, I am in fact a business advertiser and entrepreneur myself. I would be happy to take it off your hands for 25 gold pieces.
How about 28 gold pieces?
26.
tell you what, let's meet in the middle of 27, and I'll sell you this studded leather armor.
Sold. And can I trade in my current leather armor for a small man's leathers for my boy? And he taps Gotti on the head.
So you're trying to trade in your leather armor for smaller leather armor?
Yeah, just leather for leather, so that way it's his size.
He goes, well, for that trade, I could give it an even trade for your little fella over there. He takes your leather armor, puts it in a chest, and then he opens a box, a crate, and he says, well, this would fit a halfling, but I think this would fit your little friend over there.
Should do fine, thank you.
Of course.
I'm gonna go buy Gaudy light crossbow.
Alrighty, you'll continue to look around. Meanwhile, Kaz, what are you doing in this scenario?
So I've surprise, surprise, Kaz has never been in a market like this before.
Mhm.
So she is, she's just like perusing, like looking at all of like what everyone's selling, seeing if anything catches her eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as what they're selling around you, this guy is selling like small arms, simple weaponry. This guy is selling what seems like to be basic lanterns. This guy over here is selling cookware. And then this young man over here, which you recognize is the man who was on that second date, and he is selling like basic adventuring gear, it seems like.
Okay. I guess I'll go see what he's got.
Oh, yes, he looks up and he's like, oh, sorry, forgive me, I didn't expect anyone to be this tall around here. How can I help you, sir, ma'am? I'm sorry, I don't know what to call you.
Ma'am, 1 second, and she casts disguise self, on herself to, shrink herself down to a much more reasonable 6'3".
Okay, you do so. He goes,
Is that better?
It's a little bit, but I didn't mind your heights regardless. How may it be of assistance?
Well, I guess I just wanted to see what you were doing, what you were selling here, and see if anything caught my eye.
Well, I'm basically selling standard gear. I'm selling ropes. I'm selling crowbars. I am also selling some candles and some candle holders if you wish to purchase those. Other than that, just basic rations and what have you.
Could I buy 3 days worth of rations and?
Oh, sure, of course. He gathers some 3 days worth of rations nearby.
Mm-hmm. And also a lantern.
A lantern, okay. You do need some lantern oil, and so the oil should only cost you about 1 silver piece per bottle, of course. Other than that, would you like a standard lantern, or would you like a hooded lantern?
Just a standard one.
Standard one. Well, a standard one would be worth 5 gold pieces, and then 1 oil should last you a couple nights.
So 1 silver, gold, 5 gold. How much for the rations as well?
Well, you asked for 3 days, yes?
Yes.
Well, the rations, I could do this for about 2 silver pieces per day, so 6 silver pieces, which roughly totals to about if my math's correctly, I believe a gold and 3 silver pieces, if I'm not mistaken.
For everything? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Here you go. She hands it all to him and like puts it all in her pack.
He puts in his coin pouch and he says, well, I hope you get a lot of need for that. I'm assuming you're the adventuring type.
I guess you could say. Good luck with any future endeavors at the tavern. And she just like winks and walks away.
He doesn't like quite understand what you mean with that. He goes, that was off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Davina, what are you doing?
I want to see if I can do like a perception check, if other than the person by the fountain, if anyone else, because I think I've been to this market before, like living here.
Mm-hmm.
If anything else seems out of place, or if it's just this one fountain guy.
You believe it's just this one fountain guy. You don't really see a lot of crime as of late. The Palladium Guard does do as annoying as they are, they do a good job of handling crime.
So I am going to move myself over here
Okay.
to kind of create like a counterpoint to Umbrella.
Sure.
Hey.
Okay.
Pincer maneuver.
Speaking of Umbrella, what are you doing? You're nearby some farmers who are basically selling basic crafts. You see a merchant has clearly not from this continent try to sell his wares. But nonetheless, you do see this shady-looking fellow just sitting, minding his own business, eating, seems like to be some sort of jerky.
She is also looking around to see where they can find like a crossbow, plus keeping their eyes on this shady fountain guy.
Meanwhile, Cass is peeking around the corner. So this guy is selling what seems like to be a light crossbow, along with a few crossbow bolts. He goes,
They're gonna make her way over here and ask him.
"Oh yes, good evening. How may I be of assistance? You are interested in my wares?" And you see he's selling basic weaponry and a couple of light crossbows and some bolts.
How's your crossbows looking? What quality are they?
They are of good quality. Oh, well, sorry, sir, you startled me there. You see,
Grimshaw just runs up.
I heard the word crossbow.
oh well, my crossbows are ranging as far as quality is concerned. Now, I've heard those dwarves, they might charge arm and a leg, and I have not seen their work yet, but I presume their work is quite well. But as far as crossbows, you'll find everything that you need here. And he shows you guys a light crossbow. If you need a lighter crossbow on the go, a light crossbow will do just that. You could carry it, and you could also use it if you need be. Or if you want something heavier, he puts down the light crossbow and he grabs, as I'm reading off the player's handbook. One moment. Otherwise, you can go with the heavy set, and he puts up like a heavy crossbow. He says this will put a hole through any large beast that dares threaten you. And then other than that, I do sell these other ones, and he shows you guys like better quality hand crossbows. But these are a bit more of a pricier side, but they're more well built in quality. So which ones would you two like?
What's your prices on them?
Well, for the regular crossbows, for the lights one, it would be worth about 35 gold pieces, and you can see that the quality is relatively new. Other than that, the heavy one, that one over there, this would be worth about 75 gold pieces. Now, the better qualities are a bit more pricier. The light version is 100 gold pieces, and the heavy one is 200 gold pieces. Of course, these qualities are built in better condition and would last you longer.
Don't let them scam you.
Oh, I'm not
Big
simply.
dragon foot up. Listen.
He says, "Good sir,
I'm
I'm
over
not
there.
trying to scam prices. I
Are
bring
you trying
the
to scam me?
no, not of course, not no. I am simply bringing these from the left continent back here, and traveling with these is well quite taxing, and it's not easy to bring these weapons in. That is
But
why
tell
the
me.
price is increased."
Oh, but tell me, is there someone who sells local crossbows?
Well, you can most certainly try others, but again, these are more better condition. If we do not like the price, perhaps we could negotiate, depending on difference of pricing.
Well, and I quickly check my pocketbook of pricing. No, yeah, I'd like to try to help and negotiate prices.
Sure, well, give me a price, and I'll see if I can either match it or give you a better offer on them.
Well, I'd like more of a run-of-the-mill light crossbow. How would you do for 25 gold?
Could you do 30 gold?
I could not. Roll persuasion.
We're not rolling for negotiations.
Listen, I could do 26. No penny less. You know, I'm a local. You know, I happen to travel in some pretty wide circles. I am the famous Grimshaw, and I like flash on my guitar.
Abad, forgive me, I am not part of these lands. I have not engaged much within the locale, so I cannot speak for your reputation.
Well, you simply must partake. If you've no idea, what kind of people we are, you might not be able to sell as easily. How about this? 25 gold, and I'll make sure you get a free ale at the meat house. I play there. I'm pretty popular at. Class act, you might say.
He scratches his mustache a bit, and he says, Tell you what, I am willing to sell it to you for about 27 gold pieces. Again, I do need to make some sort of a profit. And if you throw in that ale at the house, perhaps we'll agree on the price.
27 gold sold.
All right.
And I go over to Umbrella. Weren't we at 100 before? And I take the crossbow and drop the gold and give him a wink.
All right. You have a regular light crossbow. All right. And he says, and what about you? Would you like to negotiate, perhaps?
So I was looking towards more of heavier one.
What is your body size as far as your character? Is it skinny, average?
Pretty average.
Pretty average? Well, for you, I'm not too sure, but if you are willing to use a heavy crossbow, again, it does require 2 hands, but it has a longer range. Again, I am willing to sell the heavy crossbow for 75 gold pieces, but if you do not like the price, perhaps we could negotiate.
Your lighter ones are, what, 26? 27,
well, I was able to give this gentleman over here 27. He promised me some ale. That's why we negotiated the price lower. Unless you could offer something in addition to payment.
I'm going to strum my guitar to give them bardic inspiration.
Britta is thinking.
It's fine.
Music.
So what is your original price then? Before the barding?
Well, before the barding, it's 35 gold pieces. Again, this is simply to compensate for the travel and the fees that I had to pay to get this weaponry over here.
So, say if I went over to a stall that, just normal crossbows from this area, what price would they give me?
They might get you a cheaper price, but again, it could be either used crossbows or crossbows that are broken, that are managed to be fixed up. Those type of crossbows can be quite, haphazardly. If you're in a dangerous situation, you don't want it to break upon use, wouldn't you?
But your crossbows have traveled a long distance. I don't know what
fully secured.
type of...
I insured you. If you wish to inspect it, I have no problems in doing so.
I'll inspect it, yeah.
He grabs it, brings it back, and you see as you inspect it, go ahead and make an investigation check.
14.
14. This is a relatively new crossbow, and it seems like to be in great condition.
It's subpar.
Subpar.
How about a 30?
30 gold pieces.
It could be better. It has a few scratches on the bow, but I suppose it'll do.
You know what? You got yourself a deal.
They shake his hand.
Yep.
Pay the 30.
I believe one of our party members have accidentally left. It's weird. But
Grimshaw's gonna put his big clawed hand on their shoulder and say, "You're a natural."
Nods. Yes.
I see Kaz has accidentally left the chat of Discord, but don't worry. I'll fix it later. But, so you guys are given regular light crossbows.
Awesome.
Well, I'm giving a light. They got a heavy.
Oh,
Or did you end up
Mine was
changing
light
mine?
as
Okay.
well. Didn't want the heavy.
All right,
fair enough.
off we go. Let's just watch this guy very patiently until someone walks up to him willing to speak to him.
Okay. He's just minding his own business. Just eating some jerky.
Davina
That's
just
what
walks
they
up
all
to him.
say.
Okay, you walk up to him. What do you say?
How's the jerky?
Good.
You're normally not in this area.
And who are you?
Someone who's just checking around and offering some friendly advice to people that seem to be standing out when they don't want to be.
Standing out? What do you mean? I normally wear this. I just don't like the sun.
If you don't like the sun, then why are you in the middle of the market? Like, literally, this is like the sunniest place.
He looks up and down to you. What's it to you?
I'm just gonna walk over and be like, "Are you the informant?"
Ah! What the hell? Who are you?
Grimshaw Rex.
Hmm.
Are you the informant?
Excuse me.
Excuse you, what? Are you here to tell us something or not?
Perhaps. Depends. Depends on
Would
things.
Would you like to speak somewhere where you can hide your face further? I imagine you must be quite ugly to be hiding it, so.
Not ugly, but I do not mind speaking here. Maybe further away from this belligerent merchant. And you hear the merchant saying, "Get your corn! Get your corn! Corn fresh from the left continent, not spoiled, I promise you." He says, we should probably speak right around here.
Corn.
Away from the corner stall.
He can be quite annoying at times.
Fair. So, welcome back, Cass.
Hey,
She's back.
sorry guys, I'm on my phone right now, so I might sound weird for a sec. Computer's down.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, let me go back to the thing. Don't worry. Technical difficulties. It's been solved. All right. All right. So, what do you, Davino and Grimshaw, say to this guy? Like, what do you say?
Honestly, if you just like tell us now, it'll be like much faster and less suspicious.
Yeah, you're the one that's supposed to be telling us something.
I'm willing to tell you if there's something in it for me.
Well, if you're waiting for me to slap grease in your palm, you better tell me why I should give a shit before I start handing out gold.
Well, it looks like you are more desperate than I am for information. Information I know. Information I'm not willing to give freely. And we are in the middle of a
Did I say that I was desperate? I'm not sure you understand, sir. I will buy your information, but first I want to know what I'm buying. Give me a hint.
He says, depends on what information you ask.
We want to know about this. And I think Kaz has the drawing of it, right?
Yeah.
I run halfway across the market. Kaz, I need that drawing of the cult symbol.
Oh, okay. She drops her disguise self because she figures we're intimidating people.
She's a bit more taller now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Good call.
she's gonna come with you with the drawing that she has made and gives it and doesn't give it to the guy. She holds it up to him and is like, "Do you recognize this?"
Perhaps I know something about it.
Davino contemplates shoving this guy's head in the fountain.
Well, it's perhaps or perhaps don't. So you either do or you don't.
You guys are all surrounding me. He takes the leaf off of that. Listen, I'll just cut straight to the point. I could have more. If I could have information, if you got coin, give coin. I give information. We clear?
Oh, good God. She slaps 10 gold in his hand and is like, is this enough?
He says, in fact, I do recognize that symbol. And as he puts the
Oh.
gold pieces in his pocket, he says, that symbol
Believe it.
I've been seeing quite around as of late on some fuckers around. Where they get it from, I'm not quite sure, but that's definitely a cultist for sure. The last thing I knew about any cult activity is somewhere underneath the undercroft near the docks. You might find something over there.
You said you saw people with the symbol?
Citizens walking around, normal folk. Where they get it, I do not know. Looks occultish to me. But I've heard some cult activity underneath the undercroft, again, nearby the docks.
Okay. Is there anything else you can tell us?
Depends what you want.
Information. She literally just gave you 10 gold. My God.
And I just gave her information. It's a fair trade, no?
You know what? I think you actually gave us enough to work with. I'm actually familiar with the area. I got some people that some legs I can shake.
Fair enough. Well, if you'll excuse me, I got some coin to gamble. And then he will go out of the marketplace.
Well, he kind of like looks around a little bit and like checks corners and stuff. Let's have this conversation about Zer. He's not his fish. I want to talk. I want him to know.
Speaking of Zer, what have you been doing?
He's just sitting in the corner eating fish and fistfuls, I imagine.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just kind of just hanging out, just kind of minding my business, not trying to draw a crowd. Understanding that I'm a bugbear and I'm just trying to not be any more obvious than I already am.
Turns out you draw a crowd of your allies.
Definitely not what I wanted.
What are
You
we,
guys-
fucking street spectacle? Y'all get the hell out of here.
All right, the crowd disperses. I'm not gonna put 1,000,000 tokens on the board, so the crowd
Yes, please
disperses.
don't. I look at everybody like, listen, I'll be honest with you. All you seem like the type that aren't gonna really fuck me over later. I've got some shady types that I used to work with who could probably give us information. But the docks, they're the kind of place that you go when you've lost your religion, if that makes sense. We gotta check that out. If we're gonna get paid to just go around talking to people, I'll collect the gold, but up to you guys if you want to take this to the next step.
I think we should. This is something I wasn't telling you guys back at the church, but I saw a vision of an obelisk in the middle of the forest where all the fiendish creatures are coming from. Now, I don't think it's a great idea to go waltzing in there right now, because I feel like that is get our asses kicked territory. But I think that's where this is all leading to eventually. So, more information in the docks might be good.
Yeah,
I
Scoping
agree.
out the
Should go
people.
to the docks.
yeah, I think it's fair.
So to the docks.
All right, to the docks you go.
We
It takes you about an hour or two. Would you guys like to role play during this time?
Grimshaw's just whistling, walking through, being the loud, noisy guy that he is.
All right.
Az is hanging back and being pretty quiet right now.
Are you okay? You seem kind of winded after.
I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't warn people that sometimes it's a little
No,
too
and
much.
he said he warns me, but he very much
Nope.
didn't.
He's a dick.
So like I said, I don't know if what I saw was what is happening, what will happen, or what has already happened, or something like that. But concerning on like global scale, current where we are scale, and like my family scale concerning to me at least. So I don't know. Figured I might as well take care of this one while we're here, though.
Maybe talk to Sophia, see if she can do something similar, and if the same things arise, then it's a little
Yeah.
more certain.
Yeah. Other than just dump images into my brain and be
Or
like,
like,
"Go get him, champ."
or at least like actually warn you.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. But
Alright.
yeah, just
How much do you know about the spell that he cast on you?
me.
Yes.
I don't know much of anything about celestial, about like divine magic.
Oh, it's not like he can tamper with it. It's more of a he's lighting a torch to let you see. He's not really responsible for like the paintings on the wall, if you get the metaphor. But
Oh,
he's
okay.
not telling like but there's no way for any of them to tell you who painted them, if they're fiction or non-fiction. Like it's kind of a well now you saw
Oh, good. So
something.
the gods didn't lie to you.
Well, it's not always that simple. I haven't traveled with many clerics, but I've seen my fair share of fortune tellers. What you're looking at is weal or woe. You could have good results, you could have bad results, but it all depends on the scenario, and it could shake out either way. If you saw something bad, prepare for harsh weather.
Pretty well.
But also
Yeah.
it gets murky because you don't know if your tampering with it will make it worse, or if you trying to stop it is actually what brought it to come forward. Isn't
Right.
divination great? Yeah, it's so handy.
Personally, I say our fates are never set. I rage against my fate, my lot in life every day, and I think you should do the same, Gaz. If you think you can do something, do it.
Well, I
Because like
should.
you asked about a
Feel
comment
like if
and then you got an
you know
obelisk.
something's
Like
gonna happen, you should. Right. The obelisk seems actually like pretty good idea of what might be happening, which leads me to believe that the rest of it is also true to
We'll
an
look for
extent.
signs.
So yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
Should-
I guess I'll just go back and have different priests do the same thing to me again and again until I figure it out.
That could drive you to madness, but I think for now, we should interview these dock workers.
Alright. Speaking of
for
the dock workers, you guys eventually make it to the docks. You see 2 ships are decked, but not marked to leave ports. But you do see, it seems like to be a bunch of dwarven workers opening some crates. You see these 3 seem to be just engaging in conversation, take a break. You see a woman sweeping the deck, or the boards to the deck. You see these 3 getting off with a different merchant. Yes, I use same merchant tokens, but I'm not going to make 50 different ones. But
hell no.
you see these guys coming off the ship, unloading some supplies around here, and you see your connection right over here, Grimshaw. I do not yet have a token, but this token shall do.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell you a little bit more about what I had in mind.
Yep.
A little bit later.
But you do
obviously.
see your contact just chilling, just looking around the docks as you guys are popping around the corner.
I don't like to have them see Gaudy or really see my face, so I'm gonna send Gaudy away, and I'm gonna have him search for the Undercroft. I'm gonna put on like a white Drake bone mask for my disguise kit.
Okay. So Gotti, he says, "All right, boss, I'll find out," and then he'll leave the board
Do
temporarily.
you want us to come with you, Grimshaw, or you want us to stay here?
It's best that you don't come near me
I'm
when I
gonna-
speak to my contacts.
I'm gonna stay back because, you know, people who lost faith and someone clearly who is a messenger of faith. Probably not the best impression.
We'll stay here then.
Yeah. I guess until it's clear.
Alrighty.
Well, like, I really don't fit here, so that's why.
Alright, Zer, what are you doing?
If we're told to stay back, then I will stay back. But I'll probably be somewhere in the middle, just in case something goes down.
Sure. Of course, these workers take notice of you for a second, but then they just continue their work. And then these three will go back to the ship to collect more crates. But Grimshaw, you meet up with your contact. You could describe what your contact looks like if you wish. Otherwise, I could just do it next session or next time you see him.
My contact is also a dragonborn, wearing their own like distinctive mask with heavy clothing. The organization that I move within doesn't use names, and they rely heavily on passphrases and word of mouth. If I don't do good on a job, I lose faith, and these people won't help me.
The contact turns to you and says, "It's nice to see you again."
We move within the shadows.
Of course. What is it that you need?
Those within the shadows seek these individuals. And I give him a description of the cult marking, but I don't give him any specifics on where I've been, who I've talked to,
Sure.
or like where I got this information.
Sure. You could tell him that in your own way.
I do.
Alright. He says, I have heard some cult activity, but I do not wish to go there. I've heard some weird stuff has been happening around that area. People who end up in that area getting snatched. People in that area going missing after entering. That's the type of thing I'm staying away from.
Are there movements within the Undercroft?
I cannot say. I haven't dwelled deep enough in order to find out. But I do not wish to be harmed underneath it.
I understand. Contact me when my next task has been assigned by the Grand Shadow.
Of course. And do stay safe
Shadow.
if you do travel there. And then this person leaves the board.
I kind of walk past my group without like saying anything to them, or like I'm part of their group. And once I on this corner, I take the mask off, and he leans against the wall.
Okay.
I like lean around and like call them over.
Okay.
His silence told me a lot more than his words did. There is movement within the Undercroft, likely cult activity. They have been snatching individuals of ill repute around the dock, most likely homeless. The transformed individuals we saw were most likely those that they had taken. I don't have any perspective on their motives, but we should expect greater numbers than our own. I see no other way to investigate but than to... Actually, maybe there is another way we can go about this. Out of character. Kaz, are you here? I don't want to... You're having trouble.
If you're trying to speak, Kaz, you are muted.
Alright, well, perhaps we could find...
Sorry, no, I'm here. My bad.
You're good. I was
all
just
good.
gonna say, you know, we need someone who's capable of moving within the shadows undetected.
Mhm.
I noticed that you are of the forests. Are you
Yeah.
perchance druidic in nature?
Is that not what I've been doing?
Well, I could take a guess at. To be honest, I'm all at heels when it comes to magic. But
Right. Yes. So I can. There's a couple of things I could do. I could disguise myself to look like someone that they would kidnap and let be around to hopefully get targeted instead of another person, or I could turn into a cat or something similar and just observe tonight.
I think that if we are to make the best effort of this, we should set a trap. That's a good idea. I
Okay.
think we are of the nature to be able to perform such a.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
You don't have to necessarily be the bait. You know, that's what I pay Gotti for.
well, I can't disguise another person, just myself. But
That's actually a good point. What if, we bring them in with the bait, and then do you think you could turn into one of the fellers nabbing people?
yes, for like an hour.
I think it'd be worth trying to try to infiltrate. Problem is, we need to know where the entrance to the crofts are. I got Gotti running around, but I can't guarantee nothing.
I can. How about this? Gotti is bait, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what we paid for.
The rest of us hide. I can watch as a cat, spider, something like that. And as they're taking him somewhere, wherever they take him, we grab someone who's lagging behind, and
Switcheroo.
switcheroo.
Grimshaw nods and smiles big with his fat old dragon teeth. I like it. What do y'all say?
Sounds good.
I'm fine with that.
I can also be invisible, so we could do that as well instead.
All right. Gotti comes
Okay.
back. He says, I tried looking for some entrance, boss, but there seems to not be found. Other than that, I saw some weird person grabbing some gobs going into underneath the docks, but other than that, there's no, like...
I shake my head. Damn it, Gotti. That's it.
What?
Going under the docks.
What?
Did you follow him?
No. I just came back to report to you. I couldn't find anything else.
All right. I think under the docks is probably our best bet. I know some seedy folk like to hang out there. We should, actually, I get down on one knee and I look Gotti in the eye. I got a very special job for you.
Would that be, boss?
I just need you to hang out in this dock a little later tonight. You're just gonna stand around. You'll be armed. Nothing to worry about.
Okay, boss.
Be close by, keeping an eye on you.
All right.
God, you just agree to anything, don't you?
Well, I'm getting paid, right?
Yes. I hand him his 1 gold for the day.
He goes,
And
yes,
that's-
yes. He chews on it to confirm it's real, then he puts it in his pouch.
I take out the leather armor that I bought for him, and I help him get fitted.
All right. It kind of
And then
fits
I
Gotti
give
well.
I give him this big old crossbow, and I say, hide this under your cloak, and if you see someone coming at you, well, you just do what you feel comes naturally.
Okay, but do you have any bolts? This is just a crossbow.
Oh, can we retcon about some bolts? I didn't think about that.
Sure. Sure.
How much?
I gotta get my PHP back. But we'll continue
I
as
can look it up.
yeah.
No worries.
All right.
Retcon.
It's the average price for bolts.
No problem.
But you give him bolts. And he goes, thanks, boss. And then he loads one up and puts it underneath his armor.
I look at the group. Do you guys have anything that you want to get set?
No, I'm pretty fine.
All right, we should find some places that we can hide. Actually, I could probably make a hiding spot for us with an illusion. We should get up on this roof. Good vantage point.
All right.
Sir, help me up there.
All right.
I'll help.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you guys are preparing for your trap and as the days is winding down, waiting, we are gonna call it here because we are reaching time. But we shall continue within 2 weeks from now as you guys are planning to hopefully trap and trying to find more mysteries, discover
Awesome.
the cult.
Oh,
Yep.
awesome.
So,
Such guys.
all right. So until then, guys, we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.